get into today's Frontier opening bell, Wednesday, the 26th of July. I am boosting number for you. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the program. Let's just run you through some of the markets that we cover on a daily basis here on the show. The Nigerian market was up very strong, 1.11% on Tuesday. Of course, the investors priced the shares of MTN, Zenith Bank, Good Power, much stronger. And those numbers fetched the stock markets of about roughly 400 billion naira in total in market value. Just added that to the top of where we coming from, 65,991 on the NGX. The NGX itself, the Nigerian Exchange Group, reported a cash dividend, which pushed the share price up roughly 10% also on Tuesday. So that's some very good news out of the Nigeria's market space, including other names such as Unilever, which is one of the biggest household consumer products maker. The BRVM here still in West Africa was up by 0.43%, a positive day for the composite. The Egyptian market, however, went down 0.4%. The Nairobi stock market fell 2.5%, and that's taking the index below the 111 level. Again, Kenya is dealing with some protests around the country's tax as well as fuel prices. Now, electricity is being added to the issues that the Kenyans will have to deal with. So investors booking some profit, with the KPLC, Kenya Power, reporting disappointing loss figures for the company's full year 2022 in the first half of this year. So the numbers aren't looking good. So got a lot to deal with. Investors are pulling back a little bit from the recent rally that we saw on the Nairobi securities market. The GSE went up by about 1% on Tuesday, 77,525.6 on the all-share index for Africa's biggest securities exchange. So let's take the market's numbers down. And if you roll up the East African corridor, this is what you find as we start from the East Coast, with the East African ministers approving $4 million Northern Corridor budget. The Centum listed on the Nairobi bourse says it's buying back about 4.6 million shares in the first 5 months of this year, while the International Finance Corporation, the private sector lending arm of the World Bank, says it's backing 28 billion Africa trade deals in City Plan. And Uganda's dairy sector is in losses as Kenya blocks exports. And that is not some good news between the two big neighbors, so the biggest economies east of the continent. In the meantime, Airtel and MTN go live with 4G in Rwanda. And that's getting things a whole lot better as far as telephony and telecommunications concerned in the East African country of Rwanda. Those are your headlines this Wednesday from East Africa. Let's check in with West Africa. Nigeria's got quite a bit to chew over, with the central bank yesterday raising interest rates by a modest 25 basis points, beating market expectations, and economists forecast that the rate hike will be much stronger. But the acting central bank governor, Folashodun Shonobi, says the modest rate was decided because the previous rate hikes under Governor Godwin Emefiele were good enough at moderating inflationary pressure in the country. So they went for 25 basis points, but said that the country's exchange rate volatility will continue until there is one, FX supply goes up, and of course the pent-up demands on the books are cleared up. So those were some of the fallout of yesterday's monetary policy meeting, the first under the new Tinubu's administration. And late yesterday, the central bank also asked banks to lift the post-no credit restrictions, which are placed on 440 companies as well as individuals. And there was no reason given for that restrictions removal by the financial regulator. They just asked banks to report back to the central bank and, of course, inform the customers that post-no debit restriction on their account had been removed. The Bank of Ghana has restored the foreign exchange operating licenses for Fidelity Bank and the First National Bank of Ghana. And Sonatel Group, that big telecommunication giant on the BRVM, says its first half 2023 turnover was up 81 billion CFA franc. And in Togo, we'll be looking to reimburse about 13.04 billion CFA franc of debt in Islamic finance on the 17th of August. And of course, as mentioned earlier, the cash dividend being paid by the Nigerian Exchange Group, 25 kobo per share. That was at the end of yesterday's emergency board meeting. The annual general meeting was held just about a week ago. And this comes just after 2 years after the NGX became a demutualized exchange. Let's take this down, look at the Southern African market. ShopRite is reporting that its first half, full year sales will rise to estimated 17%. Some good news there for ShopRite, the largest stores on the continent based in South Africa. But not so good news, however, according to the latest Nedbank report being reported that capital investments into South Africa is declining down 30% over a year ago. That's not good news for Africa's most advanced economy and one of the hottest investment destinations. In the meantime, the BS says they delivered the first production from $2.3 billion underground mine. That's as far as diamonds concerned. Econet and EcoCash in Zimbabwe says the right offer will be due out in August to cut legacy debt for the company. And Tanzania's sugar board are excited that Kagera Sugar has put a foothold in South Africa, buying into the sugar assets of Tonga Hoodlet. That announcement came last week, and Tanzanians are excited about that cross-border business deal with South Africa's sugar industry. Those are your headlines from Southern Africa. Let's touch on with North Africa. We're seeing quite a number of earnings from companies listed on the Tunisian stock exchange, including Star Assurances, reporting better than expected numbers. But let's start with the IMF statement that Egypt's economy will remain positive despite challenges that President Al-Sisi faced. The National Bank of Egypt is offering 2 new US dollar certificates to investors, while Egypt is signing framework for mining terms with Barrick Gold as well as Centamin. And finally, Algeria has applied to join BRICS. That's the Brazil, India, Russia, China, and South Africa, that group of emerging economies, to contribute about $1.5 billion to the group bank. And this is quite interesting because the middle of August, just in about 4 weeks' time, that BRICS summit in South Africa, which, of course, Russian President Vladimir Putin is not expected to attend, of course, on the back of that international arrest warrant on him. So that's the big story. But it's going to have close to about 20 countries are currently applying to join the BRICS. It's going to be a very huge summit next month. But as we speak, the Russia-Africa summit in St. Petersburg will be taking off today and tomorrow. Keep an eye on that. Russian President Vladimir Putin is inviting African heads of state and policymakers from the continent to sit down and discuss the relationship between Russia and the continent. Of course, we expect some African heads of state, such as South African President Ramaphosa, Macky Sall of Senegal. Nigeria is being represented by the Vice President, Shetima, while others will also be in attendance, including the Kenyan President, William Ruto, and Emerson Mnangagwa of Zimbabwe. Those are your business, economic, finance, and investment markets headlines this Wednesday. Do have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you next time. I am Boston Amofaye. Watch the show online again and follow us on all our social media platforms. Bye for now.